writing class. It's a pleasure to be around us today, and welcome to class. Welcome to case study class. Welcome to report writing class. Today we shall be discussing uh, the importance of answer plans to your report. The importance of answer plan to your report, to report writing. Now, answer plan, put it in this way, is more or less like the your table of content. Whenever you want to read, there is a table of content. So your answer plan helps you to particularize your answer so that it won't be muddled up. You understand it? Okay. It helps you to particularize, to put your answer, your report into perspective so that you will not have to you will not have to uh, mix things up unnecessarily. All right, so let me quickly review this to us. Okay, I can see some people online. Welcome, please. If you are online, just say hi to me. You can just say hi. And if you have questions, please do not hesitate to ask the questions. All right, so like I was saying, answer plan is like the table of content, and it helps you to make sure that you're not being mixed up. That's number one. Number two, that it will help you not to be confused while you are doing your exam. During your exam, with answer plan, you will not be confused. And what is actually answer plan? I said it earlier, is like your table of content. Now, there is this question students used to ask me, that should they write their answer plans on their answer sheet? Please, friends, do not write your answer plan as part of your answer. You can only write your answer plan behind uh your answer sheet at the back where you normally do your jottings. You can write it there so that you will not be confused. So that you will not be confused. So that you will not be confused when you're doing your exam, during your exam, because there is every likelihood, because of the volume of the exam, there is every likelihood that you are confused when you're writing. There's every likelihood that you are confused when you're writing. So to help you, to save you from being confused, or to save you from being running hectare skelter when you're supposed to be writing, answer plan will help you to do that. All right, now let's go straight to what answer plan is. I'm expecting some chat for some of us that are live. I'm seeing people are live online. I'm seeing some of us that have joined this class now. I'm expecting some responses from us so that we'll know we are on the same page. All right, so let's go to answer plan um business, which is the business of the day. Okay, the first thing on your answer plan is your cover page. Of course, we've been saying that your cover page is like the back of your your textbook, where they will tell you the title, the person that wrote it, then who is it target, who is your target, and all that. So that is that on the cover page. The cover page has some sections. It has rules. You must be able to particularize it. You must be able to like spread it and make it to be neat. Your cover page is so important. It is necessary for you to make your work to be neat. And you know what? There is this usual saying. They say, do not judge the book by the cover. It means that your cover page carries a lot of weight. The way you do your cover page would determine, it sends a lot of signal to whoever wants to mark your paper. It sends a lot of signal to it. All right, that's that on cover page. Then another thing about cover page is cover page will give us an idea whether you're writing this report to external body or the report is for internal. Cover page will tell you whether the report is internal or external. Please take note, it's very, very important. Now, the cover page also tells us who are you directing this report to. It tells us who are you directing the report to. Are you directing this report to, say, the managers? Are you directing it to the board of directors? And if you are directing to the board of directors, students, please take note. You must put the board of directors. See the way I said it. The board of directors. Then next line, or you put comma, write the name of the organization. The name of the organization. I hope this is clear. The name of the organization after the board of directors, comma, the name of the organization. It could be Detoy Farms and Farm Products Nigeria Limited. It could be Spicy Restaurants Nigeria Limited. It could be Bata Leather Works Nigeria Limited, and so on and so forth. So that is how the the person you are sending the report to, that is what you are likely to write in front of the toe. Then next to that, you're supposed to, I'm still talking about your cover page now. I'm talking about the cover page now. Next to that is the subject. The subject is the next, and the subject will tell you whether you should it will tell you the is supposed to carry the requirement, the two requirements. You must find a way to compress the two requirements and bring them in one flesh. Some students used to do this. They will write they will want to write requirement one subject and write requirement two subject. uh as much as one will not say it is not correct, uh, it is advisable. It is more advisable for you to ensure that you put this, compress them together. It is better compressed together. It is better compressed together. It shows that you are a professional. It shows that you know what you're doing. Yes, it shows that you know what you're doing. So please, for your subject, make sure you compress. Let your subject have the element of all the requirements. In most cases, you usually have two, at times in three. Whatever number of requirements, make sure your subject carries a chunk, a very good fraction of it, so that whoever is reading it will understand that this report is answerable to all the requirements. I hope you are following. All right. After your subject is what? Prepared by. Some people will put from, is not bad, but prepared by, I think, is more, is fair. It's fair. All right. So if you put prepared by, what are you talking about? That is one sensitive area. Prepared by on your cover page is a sensitive area because it tells us whether the report is internally produced, or is being directed to an internal party. You understand it? For example, if the report is internal, that is, the report is going to the board of directors of the same entity where you work, there is a way you must write it. You must write prepared by. Put prepared by, put your semicolon, and after the semicolon, you put the name of the department. That is, if it is an internal report, please listen up, friends. Very important. If it is an internal report, the name of the, what's it called, or of the department that is doing it, that is preparing the report, that is sending the report to the boards of director, is key that you write the name of that department. Now, if you write the name of the head of that department, not the name, the title of the head of department, for example, say HOD, finance and admin, or you write chief finance officer, admin and finance department, is still welcome. Is still welcome. But preferably, it's advisable you use the name of the department and you go on. For example, finance and admin department, or the business advisor department, etc. You understand it? All right. I hope this is flowing. Thank you, everyone. I can see people online with me. I recognize you. Please try and introduce yourself and let me know whether you have questions. If you have questions, please just quickly let us have it, and I'll be answering them live here on live. I'll be answering them as you are asking the questions. All right. Now let's move on. While we move on, the next thing I talked to us about this thing now, about the internal, when you are writing prepared by on your cover page. The next one is, what if it is an external report? An external report is a report that moves from one entity to another entity. You understand it? It moves from one entity to another entity. For example, if a consultant is writing a report to the client, it is an external report. But if, for example, Dangote Nigeria PLC, the admin department of Dangote Nigeria PLC is writing a report to the board of directors of Dangote Nigeria PLC, it is an internal report. But if Chukwuemeka and Co Chartered Accountant Firm is writing to Dangote Nigeria PLC, it is an external report. Now, in that case, if it is an external report, how will you undo it? How will you write prepared by? Now, this is how you write it. You write prepared by semicolon. You write the name of the firm. In most cases, it's usually a chartered accountant firm. Please remember, write the name of the chartered accountant firm as the name goes. Do not make mistake. You know, if you have Chukwuemeka, comma, Ali, comma, Ndume, you know, in bracket, chartered accountant, you understand, you close the bracket and you leave it like that. Now, the next thing you're going to be doing is okay, I have a question here before I go to the next thing. Somebody is saying this is from Ikmas Vlog. Hello, sir. Since we can't pick word for word, how do we modify the requirement in such a way that the subject carries the message without being too lengthy or being word for word? Thank you. This is a beautiful question. Thank you for your question. This is it. This is one of the reasons why this kind of class will be coming on. You are supposed, as a report writer, as a professional, you're supposed to build a kind of conceptual skill, a kind of skill that can compress, a skill that can see things and remodify it. It is a skill, friend. It is a skill that you must develop. Okay, let me quickly digress using this question. Let me digress so that the person that asked this question and others that are watching now will understand. All right. If I have like two requirements, one, the first requirement states that, say, manage the review of management accounts, and the second requirement is usually like something like assessment of the proposal whether to carry on a project or not. All right, how do we compress this? This is actually a difficult terrain for students, but I will break it down. You can start by saying an assessment, or you say an appraiser of the management account of, say, for example, Detroit Farms and farm products. You can, if you like, you can put comma. If you like, put the semicolon. You understand it? And if you like, you can put a conjunction, which is like, and the assessment or the review of the acceptability of the proposal, of the two proposals, or of the viability of the proposed project. You see, these things are is kind of technical, but it's simple if you can calm down and understand how words can be placed, can be put together. You're following me? I hope you're following me. How words can be put together is very important. It is, like I said earlier, it is a skill. It is a skill that you must possess. It is a skill that you must possess. All right. I will have to stop here on this question, but I hope the message has been passed. You understand? And if you are not clear yet, please let me know. If you are not clear yet, let me know. Probably I will arrange another class where I will have to use a board and use a live question. I think that will help us better, right? And if you need that, if you're watching me and you need it, please just chat me up that, sir, I need a live class on this particular subject. I need a live class. I would like to have you so that I will know the tenacity that is being involved or that is involved in this in that question. All right. Going forward, the next thing you're going to be talking about after you are done with your prepared by is your what? The date. Remember, it's your date. You write your date, and the date must be the date of that exam. Please remember, it is the date of the exam. Friends, it is the date that you are writing that exam. You understand it? All right, thank you. Ikma is saying that yes, sir, that will help better. Okay, I will try and arrange that, and I'll communicate that on this platform. I'll communicate when the live class is going to be. That I might have to use a board if possible. I might have to use a board and show us how to do this subject, because the issue of subject had been a serious one for students. So I will break it down by God's grace. All right, thank you so much. So like I was saying, please subscribe to our channel if you have not, and then please give us a thumb up if you have not done that. All right. The next thing, like I said, is the date, and it has to be the date of the exam. Excuse me. So, all right. After the date is what? If it is an internal report, the date is the last thing on your cover page. If it is an internal report, students, please listen up. If it is an internal report, the last thing on your cover page will be your date, and you spread it down like that. All right. But if it is an external report, the next thing after the date will be what? Will be your disclaimer. What did I call it? Disclaimer. Disclaimer is a way of shielding away uncalled for liabilities as it regards the report. As it regards the report, is a form of shielding away some liabilities, uncalled for liabilities as it regards the report. Okay, like we said, since the report is external, it can only be you can only put disclaimer when the report is external. Remember, all right. So you have to tell the whoever is not authorized to use the report, and the person used the report without your consent, you will not be held liable if you have put your disclaimer on your cover page. This is the essence. This is the essence of putting disclaimer on your cover page. An example of a disclaimer is given as like this. You write disclaimer, semicolon. You now write that. You can write, this report is prepared for the sole use of, for example, Dangote Nigeria PLC, full stop. Any, or you can put it like Chukwu Emeka Ali and Indume and co-chartered accountant shall not be held liable shall not be held liable for any third party use without its written consent. In other words, if there is no consent, they did not seek your consent and they went ahead and used what you have prepared in that report, and it landed them in bankruptcy and landed them in any form of issue, it will not affect you with that disclaimer. Okay, so that's the importance of the disclaimer. All right, I hope you are following. All right, please, if you have further questions, please let's put them across. Now, we were talking about answer plan, and I said the first thing is going to be your cover page. And on your answer plan, wherever you're going to jot them down, do not put number on the cover page. Your numbering should start from what? The next one we want to talk about now, which is the executive summary. So your executive summary is your number one. So you write it like this: 1.0, put space, executive summary, capital letter, then you underline it. All right, I hope it's clear. Now, let's talk a bit about this executive summary. For some of us that do not know what executive summary means, it means that you are recognizing the fact that not everybody will have the luxury of time to go through the volume of your report. You know, some reports can be voluminous and can be very complex, can be, so executive summary is a way of bringing together the salient point in that report without misinforming whoever is reading it. And like the name implies, it says executive summary. The summary is actually targeted for or to the executives. It's assumed that probably this board of directors do not have the luxury of time to go through all the jamborees, the analysis, and all that in the report. So you create a space for them where they can quickly look at the salient point and take their decision. They must be well informed through your executive summary. However, you want to make them inform them, you must not overpack your executive summary with too much details. You must not overpack your executive summary with too much detail. I hope you're following. All right. So, what is an executive summary for definition's sake? Executive summary is actually an abridged version of the main report. It is an abridged version of the whole report. In other words, everything that is inside the report, you find a way to compress them, summarize them in a readable manner that you will not misinform whoever is using that executive summary to take decision. I hope you understand that's the definition. And like I said, it is the next thing after your cover page. That is, if I carry your report, the first thing I will see is what? Your cover page. If I open the cover page to the next page, I should be seeing your executive summary. All right. In other words, it means that location of executive summary is at the beginning of the report. The location of executive summary is always at the beginning of the report. Now, going forward, your executive summary is numbered 1. Is that correct? Everything under executive summary should be 1 point something. Every subheadings under your executive summary. For example, if I'm writing introduction next under your executive summary, like I said, the executive summary is the abridged version of the report. Is that clear? All right. So in the report, you will have introduction. In the executive summary, you must have introduction. In the report, you will have a response to the, for example, the requirement. You will write the requirement, which is requirement. You can say an assessment of the management of Detroit Farms management account for the period of this, so on and so forth. You will write it in the body of the report. The same thing will happen in the executive summary, so that even if the whole detail is not taken, is not in the executive summary, there is a subheading that answers that shows that there is an answer to the requirement. You understand it? Okay. So when you write it, like I was saying, 1.0 is your executive summary. The next line will be, let's say, the introduction, which is 1.1, your introduction, for example. The next one will be 1.2, which is your requirement one in most cases. I hope you are following. All right. So that. Excuse me. Now the next one will now be 1.2 point, which are the subs on your requirement one. I'm talking about how you should arrange your this thing, your answer with using your what's it called, the executive summary. Now I started by saying 1.0 is your executive summary. That's the title. That is the title. That is the title. The next one is 1.1 introduction. The next one is 1.2 requirement one. You write it. You are not supposed to write requirement one. You're supposed to write the title itself, the requirement itself. That's what you're writing, or whatever you're writing on. You understand it? That's what you're writing as 1.2. Then under your 1.2, you can do 1.2.1, you can do 1.2.2, you can do 1.2.3, 1.2.4. It depends. For example, in some questions where they ask revenue under requirement one, that you talk about the key changes or the impact of revenue, impact of cost, impact of expenses on the profit of the entity. You're supposed to talk about them on them, like 1.2.1 revenue, 1.2.2 cost, 1.2.3 say expenses, 1.2.4 will now be what? Say your reservation. All right, I will talk about that later on when we get there. Your reservation. Then 1.2 point, say, is it 5 now? 1.2.5 or something will now be your conclusion. Then 1.2.6 will now be your what? Recommendation. You understand it? All right. So that is what my message here is, that since it is under executive summary, your executive summary is 1.0. So everything under, you must particularize it as 1.1 point this, 1.1 point this, 1.1 point, or 1.2 point, 1.2 point. You must make sure you particularize it like that. Okay, I hope you're following. Please, if you're following me, please let's have our thumbs up. Let's talk at, let's have a chat. I would like to have some responses from us. And if you have not given us thumbs up, please go ahead and do that. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please go ahead, so that we can have wider coverage, for people that will need this as the solution they are looking for to pass their exam. All right, I hope we are following. All right, so that is that on the section 1 of executive summary. The second section will now be 1.2. You remember 1.1, or let's say 1.1 is introduction, 1.2 point something is your requirement one. Now let's now say 1.3 will not be your requirement two. Don't worry, I'll do, like I said, I'll have to do a live class where everyone can see where I will write them. I'll write them out, and I would everybody will be seeing it. All right. For the sake of time, let me quickly go to, after your executive summary, which is 1.0. The next one will be 2.0, which is introduction. That is the body of the report. You are starting the body of the report with introduction. And what are the items? What are the things that are contained in your introduction? Your introduction must contain, number one, it must contain the objective of the report. It must contain the objective of the report. But before I go on, I must let students know that when you're writing your introduction, please do not write, uh, do not be too emphatic, or do not be too timid. You must not be, how will I put it now? Because I've seen a lot of report draft written by students, during class tests, mock exams that we do in our centers. And I've observed this. This is a common practice amongst students. One, when you're writing your introduction, let me give you an instance. Let me give you an instance. You can start. We have a lot of commencement lines that you can use. You can start with, in reference to your mail, dated so and so. The mail must have a date. Remember, you are working with some case materials which are labeled exhibit. In reference to your mail dated so and so, you can start with that. You can start with sequel to your communication on the subject matter so and so, dated so and so. I hope you are following. You can start also with, we refer to your communication, or we refer to your mail sent to Chukwu and Ali, that is if it is an external report, etc. Like that. These are commencement lines for introduction. For introduction. All right. So after you have given your commencement line, you let us know what are you writing on. You must let like a substantial part of the subject, of your subject, must be present in your introduction. Substantial part, so that if you are telling us, you are introducing the subject to us, you are telling us that this is what you are writing on. You're telling us that this is your mindset. This is what we should be expecting in the report. You understand it? And the introduction must contain the all the requirements. If a big fraction of all the requirements, the introduction must contain it. The introduction must contain it. I hope you are following. I hope you are following. Please, if you are following me, please, let's have a chat. Let's just have some responses from you. Just tell me, okay, sir, I'm following, or sir, can you clarify this aspect? And that is why this live class is on. So, like I was saying, your introduction, for example, in your paragraph 1, you let us know, you give us a very befitting commencement line. After the commencement line, you must pull in, you must, in a juicy manner, you must pull in, what is it called? All the elements of your requirement, all the important elements of your requirement. You understand it? For example, you put it like this: in reference to your mail dated this 21st September 2022, from which it was requested that the management account of Detroit Farm be assessed or be reviewed within the period of this year and this year and this year. Chukwu, Emeka, and Ali had done a good review and had also added, you can go on and on like that. Your only your message will be what you want to do, what you want to achieve. You understand it? Okay, so that is the message. That's the message. That's the message there. That is introduction. Then introduction does not end there. You have to let us have an idea of other factors that had affected your review, that you have observed during your review of the exhibit that are given, of the case material that are given to you. You must let us know. Yes, you must let us know. Thank you. Ikmas Vlog say yes, sir, I'm following. Thank you for being attentive. Okay, so you must let us know other factors. And these other factors are summarized under what we call the wider context. Now, how do you know wider context? Please, friends, you may not necessarily mention the word wider context, because students used to ask me, sir, must we write wider context whenever we are writing the objective? No, it's not necessary. It's not necessary for you to put the word wider. Just go ahead and let us know that while during the review, that it was observed that the government policy, that the management account was also affected by some external factors, like the changes in government policy, changes in taste of customers, changes or the movement of the state capital from one location to the other, or different things, whatever is outside the scope of the management of that organization that is being presented to you in your case material. Please try and just label them, just pull them in, that the report during the review, that it was observed that government intervention helped in some years against some years when government policies changed, etc. These are things that you have to do in your introduction. And with that, you can be rest assured that your introduction is fine. Can be rest assured that your introduction is fine. All right. So if you are following me, please let us know. Like I said, give us a thumbs up on this channel. All right, going forward, let's reiterate what we have said so far. We said you will start with your cover page. Do not number your cover page. You go on to your executive summary, which is going to be 1.0. Then from there, we said you should go to your what? Introduction, which is going to be 2.0. The next thing now will be the body of your report, which is 3.0. Or the requirement, which is 3.0. All right, Ikma's vlog, sir, does the wider context show? I have a question. He said, does the wider context show in the last paragraph, or it can come before then? This is a very fantastic question. The wider context is better shown in the last paragraph of your introduction. It is better shown because you are introducing to us. You should introduce the internal factor, the subject of discussion first, before you let us know other things that affected the report. Do you understand it? So it's better to come in the last paragraph. Thank you for that question. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Okay, so like we were saying, I hope it's clear. Please, if you are clear with that question, please let us know. Just let me know. Say I'm clear, sir. Thank you. All right. So the next thing will be the requirement, which is going to be probably the requirement one. Is in most cases, for some of us that are writing case study exam, it's usually requirement one is usually a review, assessment, analysis of the account, of the financials of that entity that you are reviewing. You understand it? It's usually the financial review of this thing. All right. Thank you so much. You say it's clear. I appreciate that. All right. So it is your requirement one is usually, in most cases, at least from history, that is what we have seen. So you are expected to write the subject that as it relates with that requirement one. All right, you write it as your 3.0. Write the subject. For example, you can say that an evaluation of Titilayo Olagoke Nigeria PLC management account or financial statement or audited financial report for the years this 2006 to 2009. You understand it? You put that there and you underline it. That is your 3.0. Remember, then under it, you can do a brief introduction to that. That is, if you need it. But I would advise you just go straight to the point. Go straight to what you're supposed to write on, which is what your the items that the mail require or requested that you should write. Or in most cases, we've been seeing a number of them. At times, we see revenue because it's a key factor in entities assessment or performance. You understand it? You see revenue, you see cost, you see expenses, you see overhead, and so on. And you will be seeing things like the profitability in the financials. You'll be seeing things like return on capital employed. You'll be seeing things like the returns on investment. You'll be seeing a number of things. So these are some of the things you will be writing on under your requirement one. Remember, it must be what is being given to you. Please do not create question for yourself. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. Please do not create any question for yourself. Um, Look at the question critically and pick the key points there. As you will know that as a consultant, these key points, if you analyze them, it will help a better performance of the entity you are reviewing. That is what is expected of you. All right. I hope this is clear. All right. Then from there, okay, let me quickly tell us how you're going to be putting this requirement one. You remember I said requirement one should come with 3.0. From there, if you are writing on revenue next, just put it as 3.1. If you are writing on cost, 3.2, because it's still under requirement one. If you are writing on expenses, 3.3. If you are writing on overhead, 3.4. If you are writing on return on capital employed, 3.5. Then you now go ahead, you can use you can continue with other things like your reservation. You can continue in that manner, but you can also see reservation as 4.0. But I always advise students, so that you not be confused, to use 3 point something as your reservation, so that it will denote reservation for requirement one. It will denote reservation for requirement one. Please, if you are not clear with it, please let me know. We're still going to be doing more of these classes, because the exam is fast approaching now. All right. So that it will denote, it will be classified as part of your reservation, as in your reservation for requirement one. And what are the things under reservation? Reservation contains, please let's listen up, this is important. It contains all your professional skepticism, all the things you have reservation for. And how do you identify these things? You identify them by some things that have been said to have guides, to have rules, to have regulations, to be ideal, to be ethical. And probably the case material that's given to you, in that case material, they said you observe that things were not done that way, or things did not follow the pattern of what we can call an ethical pattern. You understand? If it did not follow an ethical pattern, then in that wise, you are likely to put it as your reservation. For example, if you observe that the material given to you is titled audited financial report, and you check through the material, you did not see anything about that talks about auditor's report, it does not mean it's not correct, but you should put it as reservation. Why do we need to put it as reservation? We should put it as reservation because whoever is using the report, you will not want to mislead the person. It will show the dependability of whoever is using the report. I hope this is clear. It shows the so of the report that you are writing, rather of the report that you are writing, it shows the dependability of the report. For example, if it is management account and they went ahead and put auditor's report, it doesn't seem to add up. So you are likely to put it under your professional skepticism, which is what? Reservation. And it's simple. Do not be too emphatical. Do not condemn. Please, it's very important. Do not condemn. Say it is unethical. No, 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 no. You should choose your words correctly. Whenever you're writing a report, you should choose your word not to abuse the mind of an independent user of that report. I hope you understand it. All right. We just finished talking about reservation, and the next thing will be conclusion. The conclusion is, say, more or less the summary of everything that you have in an abridged way. Conclusion. How do you conclude? How do you conclude? In your conclusion, I usually advise students you can put some form of forecasting element, in as much as you should be putting forecasting in your report. It is very important that you forecast. You Let's have some iota of forecast in your report, in the body of your report. For example, if you are telling us that revenue went down from year one to year two, and it further went down from year two to year three, it's your forecasting statement will now be like, there is every tendency, if the management did not take drastic measure on this development, there is every tendency that in such cases, revenue is likely to go into negative. That is an iota of forecast, an iota of forecast, an iota of forecast. And this is done or achieved when you are able to use correct analytical tools. I'll still do a video on that. I'll still talk to us on that. Correct analytical tools to analyze the financials that's given to you. All right. Okay, that is that on conclusion. And then the next one will now be your recommendation. Your recommendation are the summary of all your solutions. Remember, do not give us problems that you don't have solution for. In case study, if you are writing case study, please do not do that. Any problem you want to identify, ensure you prove yourself as a professional by profiling adequate solution. Quality solution is very important, very, very important. For example, if you say that there is high cost, that the reason for the low revenue was because there were the prices, that was high price, that customers were complaining of high prices of the product, of the entity's product. Excuse me. What is now the this thing to it? What is the solution? What likely solution are you going to be giving? You could give something like that the management should review their cost so as to be able to compete maximally in the market, or to have fair price that would make customers to keep patronizing their product. I hope this is clear. You understand it? Please, if it's not clear to us, please let's have it at the chat box, and I will attend to it again. You get what I just said now? Okay, so that is that on giving, identifying challenges and giving quality solution. Quality solution is very, very key, very key. All right, and that solution is what you're going to be putting together. All your solutions, you put them together under your recommendation, and that will mark the end of your requirement one. I hope this is clear. All right, so on requirement two, you can start your numbering with something like 4.0. That is, if you've been using 3.3.3.3 for a long time, you will now start with your requirement 2 with your what 4.0, which is an assessment, which is likely to be something like an assessment of reports, an assessment of this, an assessment of a proposed partnership, an assessment of or a review of the viability of the proposed purchase of machine of a plant or machineries. You understand it? etc. So if that is the case, then you start 4.1 will be something, 4.2 will be something. Okay, I have a question here. Sorry, sir, I don't know if it's my network, but the audio is breaking. So I don't think so. That should be your network. The audio is very clear. It's very clear here. All right, maybe we should just check it, but it's likely to be your network. All right, so like I was saying, 4.0 is likely to be your requirement 2, and you sub it like that so that you can finish it. Then in your requirement 2 also, you have your reservation, you have your conclusion, then you have your recommendation. Okay, I think with these few points, I think we've been able to exhaust the answer plan, the importance of particularizing your answer, your using answer plan. Please, like I said earlier, do not write answer plan inside your answer. Write it at the back of your answer sheet and be glancing at it and let it be guiding you. We call it answer plan so that it can guide, so that it can guide students, and it will reduce some form of confusion whenever you're under pressure. You understand it? Okay. So please, for as many that are subscribed to our channel, we appreciate you. Please, let's subscribe, let's like, and let's keep sharing the video so that we can have a wider social media coverage, and many people will benefit from it. All right, we appreciate you, and I'm sure I will see you in my next class. I'll see you in my next class. If you have any challenge at all, please do not hesitate to let us know. Do not hesitate to let us know. I appreciate you, and I will see you in my next class. Thank you, everyone.